Believe it. Okay.
What's going on, geeks? You listen to episode 389 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And it was a good week for gamers. This week we're geeking out about Legos. Specifically Legos. Especially me. And other showcase stuff. There was probably other things. Video game movies and video game TV shows. Video games are taking over the media this week.
Yeah.
We'll talk
They're
about that
everywhere.
all in a moment. It's like Disney. Womp womp.
At least it's coming from different studios.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
just one.
It's not just
Good
the
job,
big
gaming
ones.
industry. Speaking of games, we'll talk about the games that we have been playing. I want to go on Sunhaven real quick. I haven't played too much more of it. I have given up Shelley. I've gone straight to keyboard and mouse. And I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
So.
It's a hard transition to go from either like mouse and keyboard to controller or vice versa. But I think for a game like that, I feel like games like that sees your own
I'm just such
keyboard.
a diehard like controller for everything. And so
Yeah.
I mentioned this in the last podcast for those who don't know. Sunhaven is a Stardew clone, I guess, in a lot of ways.
It's a farming sim.
Yeah, farming sim where you get to date like the people in the village and marry them and all that stuff. There's some really cool story beats that are happening so far. Everything has been really cutesy so far. I don't know if that continues, but the story that it has is like progressive, like way more than Stardew, I feel like, and that's been really cool. But I have been left hand with a controller in my hand and the mouse in the other hand, and I've been trying to do both to like because I wanted the controller so bad. There are talks that it'll come to Switch eventually, and I would assume that when it does that they'd probably give some controller issues figured out on PC. But as right now, you do have to play it with the mouse and keyboard to really enjoy it. It's a little more convenient too, because I can stand in one spot and like water 4 different things. Whereas Stardew, say if you're doing a controller, you have to sit there and walk in front of each one.
Yeah.
So that part of it's neat. I like it though. It's fun. LJ, what are you playing?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm going back. I went back to a few things. Mostly because they all got updates and photo modes. So I went back and I played some Hogwarts Legacy, which was cool.
Nice.
To go back to. I forgot how much like I enjoyed that game and how good it is. And how fun, like how like I was just like, oh yeah, like and it doesn't feel like that long ago. Like when it only did come out like last year. But still, I'm like, wow, like it was just an interesting time. But that one has some extra updates, like some extra quests. It does have the photo mode thing. I went and messed around with that, and I realized I guess there was like a final quest you could do or a final thing where you can go to like the House Cup or something. But like you have to be level 35, and I was like, I'm like just shy of like level 30, I think. So I realized like, oh, there's still stuff I could do, so I might go back and actually play more of that just to like goof off and like more post game stuff. So looking forward to that. And then I went back to Alan Wake 2, which I have not even finished. That game got some surprise DLC over the week during Summer Game Fest. And so, like, I actually own the deluxe edition of that. So as soon as I finish that, I'm going to jump right into the DLC. So that's exciting. I definitely still have been playing other things, like multiverses and stuff like that. So, yeah, not really much to say there either, like multiverses. I'm just, like, on the grind for all the rewards in that game now. Like, that is my game for all intents and purposes. So, yeah, that's kind of been it.
Sweet. Shelley, you haven't been playing anything this week?
Honestly, no. I'm geeking out about news that we're going to talk about, but not. I kind of haven't played anything now.
I was so out of loop. I didn't know that any of this was happening because I have been doing Ren Fair for 6 weeks. So we just took a rest week.
Okay, that's fair.
Rest weekend. Yeah. I got up, literally ate, and went back and took a nap this Saturday. It was amazing. LJ, what did I miss?
Okay, so we're getting into the news now. We got a lot. I'm gonna hit all the high notes. Oh, double pun there.
LJ.
Huh?
Real quick. You were cutting out real bad.
Really bad? Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
okay.
Like every other word.
I guess my
Hopefully
issues are not... I guess my issues are not totally dealt with yet.
All good.
Yeah.
Can we maybe try the sensitivity? Lowering your sensitivity on your...
I was gonna say
on
maybe not even on the
Discord?
mic, maybe just in Discord. Yeah.
On Discord?
In Discord? Let's see.
Me and Shelley made the same confused face. And I was
Yeah, we're
like,
like, what?
I don't
Well, it's
even
too
know
bad
how-
because my headphones recently, I don't want to jinx it because they haven't cut out yet, but they've been having a really annoying cutout issue. But it's only for like a half a second, like it's a super quick thing, so like it doesn't actually interrupt stuff.
I
But
guess I could lower my...
part of me is like, is that cutting out or no?
Oh.
That's just him cutting
It's
out.
on automatically determine input sensitivity. Turn that off?
change that.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, I mean, that sounded good.
Alright.
Probably
Oh,
fine.
mine's on automatic. I don't know how to help you.
I mean, it's just there's automatic, but then it should still have some level of you pick up after it picks up
Yeah.
hearing something. I don't know.
I
don't
think
know
you
how
turn off
yeah.
the automatic.
Describe.
And then you can. There's
Well,
like a
listening to
slider if you do that.
To myself right now.
Yeah, and you can turn that like way down.
The sensitivity?
Yeah. So turn
Okay, so-
off automatically determine, and
yeah,
then
so
just
that's
bring your.
gain. Okay, so I turned the gain on that all the way down.
Okay, you'll look green the whole time. Just pick it up your mic the whole time. If that's the problem, you definitely won't cut out. So you can
Yeah,
turn the gain up a
okay,
little bit on
interesting.
it.
That's
See how that
probably
goes.
fine.
Alright.
Noise.
Alright, so I know it still looks super low on Audacity, which is... It weirds me out, but I can always edit that. Anyway. Alright, here's
Always
hoping I don't
learning
cut
curves.
out. Here's hoping I don't cut out anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you
Okay.
will. I meant that will be it.
Alright, cool. That could be why the automatic setting is probably trying to mess with stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna look at the news for all this nutty like stuff that happened over the weekend.
So
There-
much.
There is no E3 anymore, but the spirit lives on because everybody decided, hey, let's just do our own thing, and Jeff Keighley decided, hey, I'm gonna do this thing since E3 is not doing their thing.
Yeah.
So that's basically what Summer Game Fest is. So we're gonna start off with the big announcement that I know Cody's excited about is Lego Horizon.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't look at any of this. Let me look at it quick. And the first thing on there is this Lego Horizon thing. It looks
So
amazing.
silly. Like
There's
it's
hot
silly,
dog
but not
stand
in a
front
bad
of
way.
Thunderjaw.
Like you can like build your little town, kind of. It looks like, or a settlement.
Yeah, they were having a rave.
Yeah.
They were.
looks like
yeah,
it's
They're just
co-op.
having a good time. Yeah, it's co-op.
I'm going to destroy a Thunderjaw in rave with friends. It's gonna be great. That's what Horizon always should have been. It's not true. I love Horizon. Horizon's a great series.
Anyway, I mean, y'all had it. I mean, there's really not much to say. Like I'm not the biggest Horizon fan, so this is like whatever to me. And it's a Lego game too, which I'm like, hey, cool, it's a Lego game. Yeah, and if you like that world and if you like playing Lego games, like there it is.
I haven't played a Lego game in so long, but
Okay, yeah. The highlight, I guess, of this is it's coming to Switch.
Yeah, that's neat.
which is
Really neat.
crazy to think a PlayStation game will be on the Switch.
Yeah.
It was always weird when Crash Bandicoot was on. Was it Switch or Wii U or whatever?
Well, yeah. So they actually came to because they were owned by different companies, so they actually started coming out on Xbox and GameCube
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and then that just kept it going. Yeah, and so now Crash and Spyro are respectively on all those platforms as well now. So Horizon just gets added to the list. I'm hoping maybe Xbox and PlayStation are just gonna be like, hey, we don't feel like making any of our own platforms, so if anybody wants to make games on the Switch that of owned properties, I'm kind of down with that. So we'll see how this keeps going. I guess real quick to speed things up a little more, Sid Meier's Civ 7 is another big one for RTS players.
Oh yeah.
Blumhouse, this is a big one. Blumhouse has got into game publishing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
So there's like
doing
a
a bunch of
highlight
games.
reel or like a montage of stuff that they're publishing. So if you want to check that out, that is like super interesting. I think I didn't get to see, so I was listening to this on my headphone at work, which I'm technically not supposed to even be doing, but I did. I didn't want to miss anything. I'm excited for this. Valorant is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, which I think I'm so happy we're getting these hero shooters. I know Valorant's been around for a while, but we're getting hero shooters that are straight up giving Overwatch competition now, which I'm happy with. And Valorant's a really good game, so I just don't play it a lot. Let's see, Monster Hunter Wild stuff. That's a new Monster Hunter game. Let's see. Some of these articles are definitely like not talking about like a ton of this stuff, like or highlighting a bunch of this stuff. But we have a Harry Potter Quidditch game, which I'm still bitter.
Oh,
about
that's
because
right. Yeah.
Broomstick League died because of this game. I know it did.
Yeah,
They
seriously.
literally never said why. They just said, "Hey, we have to stop. We're shutting down," and that was.
We were gonna have
and
our logo in that game.
We were, and so it's like, ugh, like I don't know what this game looks like yet. They haven't really shown gameplay, so I'm like, I have my reservations. But
I played a lot of GameCube's Quidditch game though.
I did too. Like I bought a whole GameCube again, just so I could play Quidditch, like legally and stream it legally. Like
That was a solid game.
Yeah, it's still solid. Like it still holds up. Like I would love for somebody to just do an HD remake of that or HD re-release and call it a day. So yeah, and then let's see more Star Wars Outlaw stuff, which got mentioned at the Ubisoft thing. Black Myth Wukong looks nutty. Let's see what there was so much. I'm looking at a list right here. So Atlas showed Metaphor, which I know Shelley's excited about. Street Fighter 6 news. We got a whole list of new characters for that. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero got a release date for October, which I'm
Sparking Zero.
Yeah, and so that looks awesome. Let's see what else. There's a whole. Oh, the new Power Rangers game looks sick. It's like a retro thing. It looks like somebody like played Shredder's Revenge and said, "Hey, you know
Like
what?
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers need this." So that game looks super awesome too. Let's see. Yeah, so Slitterhead from the Silent Hill dev.
Mm-hmm.
First Descendant. That's another like looter shooter coming out. Sonic and Shadow Generations showed off some more stuff, and that's getting a release date for October. October's going to be packed, y'all. Like this is insane.
October, yeah, because Metaphor Refantagio is going to be out in October, and Dragon Age 4 it said fall 2024.
Yeah.
Could be October, obviously. May not be, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
We need to, like, fall's a little packed.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
A new Skate. They showed more about Skate, and that's actually getting a beta test at some point, which I love that game. Pal World is getting more content, Cody. They're getting a new island.
I need to probably jump back in that game. It's been a while.
Yeah, same.
I need to get the Steam version. Is what I'm understanding.
I ditched the pals for Democracy. Is what happened. Helldivers 2 came out and we were like, wait
okay, yep.
Yeah, new pals and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of those are the big ones for the Summer Game Fest showcase, like the big showcase. I don't know if I missed anything in there, Shelley, that stuck out to you.
There was just a lot. There's
so
like
much.
I think I watched on Friday, and then I also watched the Xbox showcase.
Well, yeah, the
and
showcase.
I think I watched.
I'm getting to the Xbox one. Definitely.
Yeah, And then I think I also watched some of the PC shows, some of the Wholesome Games Direct. I didn't watch all of those. There's just things going on all the time. Some of the Day of the Dev stuff. I know Rivals 2 creator talked about a new publishing company that they're working with too. That was during Day of the Devs, which I thought was pretty exciting. But yeah, it's like, I'm excited for Metaphor ReFantagio. That's a big AAA game. I'm excited for this game. I'm also really excited about Dragon Age 4, despite everyone saying that it looks bad. I think people are only saying it looks bad because it's presented almost like a hero shooter kind of vibe. Like when it has like the splash screens of like showing off characters.
So it's almost like an ensemble cast kind of trailer, like for a movie or something? Or it's like
totally. Yeah. And people keep making jokes like, is this some kind of Dragon Squad? Or, stuff like that. Like, people are being really unoriginal.
It's a flippin' party of heroes. Like, you would want your squad to look that cool, like, if your characters were getting made.
I think I'm missing something why people are hating on this so much, because for me, my perspective, but again, like, I didn't really think of it as like, oh, it's being presented almost like a hero shooter until like I was talking about it with a friend, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that, because obviously me going into it, I didn't think they were going to be talked about it at all, because they had already said prior that Tuesday, the day before this podcast releases, was they're going to actually be talking way more about it and actually showing gameplay. So I kind of took that away as like, they're not going to be bringing it up at all during Summer Games Fest, like that whole weekend, like no showcase is going to have it, blah, blah. So the fact that they even had anything for me was like, oh, that's cool. And then the fact that I had Varric, that I had Harding, I'm like, my dwarves, my little dwarf babies, they're back. And then they showed a warden who has a griffin, and I'm like, the lore implications. The wardens were successful in fighting griffins. That's what they wanted to find, and that's what they... So, like, that's all I paid attention to, which, like, maybe I missed the point entirely, but I think, like, it's... I think part of it, too, is that I am so wary of cinematic trailers that I never take anything really from it, per se, because it's not gameplay. It doesn't really show what the game is. And this one doesn't show it either. This game could still be a trash fire. There's many reasons it could be, because obviously we know BioWare's, status at the moment and all this developing
They've been taking their time with all
problem
the stuff too, which has been nice. Like,
yeah, but it's also been weird because the entire marketing so far leading up to this has always been focused on the Dreadwolf, which is, if anyone's played Dragon Ages, it's been a huge focus point. He's like the main villain kind of going into this game. Everyone knows that, who has played, not everyone knows that. Everyone who played Inquisition's epilogue knows that. Even if you didn't play his epilogue, you don't know what's going on, which is kind of stupid. I'm going to be honest, but...
Stick with that.
Yeah, so the fact that they changed it and changed it to the Veilguard, I think is kind of a dumb name, but whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, so now they're just really, really harping on, like, being, like, party-focused, even though I heard that they're making parties smaller, because usually it's you plus 3 companions. I think they're making it so it's just you and 2 companions, so 3 of you, which is a bummer. But I guess we'll see we'll see during their official, like, sort of direct kind of thing. And also I heard that originally it was only going to be like 11 minutes, and I think they upped it to 20 minutes, which is funny because it really does seem like they're just they're seeing all this backlash, and they're like, okay, we need to actually like reel it in. We need to talk. We need to reel it in. So I'm not putting all my hope in this game, but I'm also not immediately saying it's going to look bad because of one cinematic trailer. It's like people have forgotten what these cinematic trailers for Dragon Age have looked like in the past. They are never indicative of what the actual game is like. In vibe and tone, somewhat. I would say somewhat, but also not even really. I still remember the trailer for Origins that had 30 Seconds to Mars. I still remember the trailer for Dragon Age 2 that was like Hawk fighting the Canary. And I'm like, whoa, it's so cool. I'm like, none of these situations ever happen in the actual game. That's never really happened. So I'm like, I'm kind of also taking this trailer with a huge fat grain of salt, where I'm like, this is also like just not happening in the game, because that's how these Dragon Age cinematic trailers work. Like, they're always just kind of misleading. And sure, it's a little silly. Oh no, Harding and Varric are somewhat silly characters sometimes. Harding less so, but definitely Varric is a silly guy. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like, I guess it doesn't look good. It could have been a lot better for sure. But I think it's kind of crazy how many people are hating on the trailer. And people are like, BioWare's finished. This game is done. I'm like, okay, guys. You're taking a Star Wars approach to this. You're seeing one trailer, one thing that literally has no indication on how the game actually is. You're not seeing gameplay. You're not seeing anything. And you're saying already that's bad. You're like making such an early judgment that I'm like, you should wait. It could totally be bad for different reasons. It doesn't have to be this trailer. Like, maybe I'm high on copium because I really do want it to be good. Like, it's been 10 years, guys. My gosh, I really want it to be good, but I don't know. I guess I just don't get it. I'm not sure what the big hullabaloo is, but people really didn't like it.
So, and it's funny because everybody else, like a lot of people loved this Xbox showcase, like for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over this a bit.
It's crazy.
They started with Call of Duty, which is coming to Game Pass. So that means
day one.
I don't have to waste my money on COD anymore. I can play it if I want to play it.
Yep.
Which I'm not going to get too much into detail because I don't know how much people really care about COD. You know, as far as like if you've already watched that, if you really care. So, does look cool though. The big thing for me, Doom: The Dark Ages got revealed, which was like leaked like crazy in the past month. And it's basically like the Doomslayer, like it's like a prequel. It's like takes place in medieval type ages. So not only does this dude have a chainsaw shield now, one of the weapons is nutty, and I didn't see this till later, but it literally crushes like skulls and shoots out the bone as like ammo. And I'm like, that is so metal. Like, you even get a dragon. Like, there's a part where you fly on a dragon, and so fighting demons and stuff on a dragon is also going to be so metal. I'm all about it. Like, Doom is like never going to disappoint me. So yeah, we can move on from that. State of Decay 3 looks cool. That is another zombie thing.
Another cinematic trailer, baby.
They did show
just another one. There were a lot of those.
They did really well in like mixing some of those gameplay type of shots, and I just hope the gameplay like looks as good as like they showed in that trailer, like because it was both.
Yeah.
Starfield got a free update, and then that's also getting an expansion called Shattered Space. Fallout 76 is getting its first like expansion, which is cool because that's like a whole new area of the map. Which is exciting because like a lot of me and my friends and then a lot of other people are playing Fallout 76 again because of the show. So
right.
I'm pumped. Like that's going to be out by the time people hear this recording, which is neat. One of the like surprise highlights for me of this show was South of Midnight. The aesthetic of that game looks awesome.
That game interested me too. That game looked neat.
It looks like
It looks like Cannon Bridge of Spirits, exactly. That's what we thought too. We're like, it looks just like Cannon Bridge of Spirits. It's very good, but like in the bayou.
The South, yeah, but set in the South and like stop motion and everything. Like
it looks pretty cool.
This game looks so awesome. Like I'm excited for it. Like this is.
I kind of want to get it for sure. It looked neat.
The sleeper hit as well. Like I just think like that's not a big name on there, but it looks awesome.
Yeah.
What intrigued me was this game called Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and this is a.
Oh, that one looks so interesting.
It's a turn-based RPG that's not made by a JRPG. It's not made by a Japanese team. I am down for more people trying things like this because it's like most turn-based RPGs are straight up JRPGs. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, or like 2D or whatever, but it's like 3D, almost hyper realistic, but not necessarily hyper realistic. But it's like kind of has that more realist look. And then it's turn based. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
It weirdly makes me want to go back and play Lord of the Rings: The Third Age because I'm like, oh, that was a
nice
RPG too. One of my favorite, probably my favorite thing that isn't Doom on this showcase is Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is being revived after a very long time. This game looked like Mirror's Edge, like combined with like a spy thriller. Oh my gosh, it looks so awesome. Like, you have all these different gadgets and things you can use. They showed a good bit of gameplay for Perfect Dark. I'm excited. That game looks so flippin' fun, and I'm going to check that out. Let's see. Age of Mythology, which was an old RTS, that's coming back. Flintlock, Siege of Dawn looked awesome. Metal Gear Solid, the Snake Eater remake looks flippin' sweet.
Oh yeah, Snake
Yeah.
Eater.
Diablo 4 had a very intense cinematic. That's rated M. Let's see, and then Sea of Thieves has an update. Indiana Jones looks really good. They had a new cinematic trailer for that, and those fight scenes. There was scenes from the cinematic that looked straight out of Indiana Jones. But we've already seen gameplay for that too, so we already know what that's going to be. We have another hero shooter looking thing called Fragpunk, which I'm just whatever. We're already getting Marvel Rivals, and we have that new Star Wars one on Switch, so I'm we don't need any more generic hero shooters. Mixtape looks neat. It looks like a fun indie from Annapurna. And then, let's see, what else? Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, so then we got Assassin's Creed Shadows, our first look at that, which everybody saw during the Ubisoft thing. Atomfall looked nutty. Life is Strange Double Exposure is huge for all the people who are fans of that series, because that's bringing back one of the main characters, or the main character, I guess, of the first game. Stalker 2 looked neat. That was a neat thing. Those guys made that game through all the Ukraine stuff and everything, so more props to them that game's actually coming out. Avowed looks nuts. That's from Obsidian. That game looks really cool. That's from the people that made Outer Worlds. And then what else am I missing in there? Oh, Fable. Fable's the biggest one. I highly recommend
Fable.
The Fable series if you have not played those yet. It's super good. Actually, Fable 3 you could probably skip, but 1 and 2 are super good. And then Gears of War E-Day is the big one. That's a prequel. I think people were expecting something else, or an HD re-release of all the games, but this is a prequel. And it's a cinematic trailer again, but it looks awesome. It gave everybody the feels if you've played the series. So, yeah, a lot of heavy hitters. And then they announced more expensive versions of their console. And that's it. Those are all the highlights. There's so much more that there's a bunch of indies and things that I really want to check out that I saw from all these showcases. So
it was a huge weekend.
It really was. There's so much that I have not even talked about here. We could have done a whole podcast episode just on gaming if we really wanted to, but we're not.
Yeah, right.
So with that, we can move on.
I guess we used to do that with E3.
Yeah, that's true. E3 was big enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we would do our own. We'd do a podcast just on it. Huh.
That's true. Dang, yeah.
Didn't really think about that just now.
We literally did live watches of that too.
Yeah.
We watched it together.
Man,
It's too much
those
now.
were the days.
And
It's also
this.
way earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
It was our dream to go to E3. It's that would have been legit if we all went to E3 at one point. And that's when E3.
No, we can't.
Yeah, it was.
okay.
It was a special time, and so this time of year is still it's interesting because it's still that summer moment, but it's just not
different era.
Yeah, it's different times.
None of us saw any movies this week, but there's some movie news happening. Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, so with all of the games news and stuff, we also had some game movie news. And unfortunately, I really wanted to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer, and we did not get it. And I'm really mad about it because I felt like the perfect opportunity. But we have a couple other teasers and trailers and things.
They were not
so we
rolling
have
out the speed of sound.
frick. So they did have a teaser, sort of first look of Borderlands, the Borderlands movie. I don't know. It looks fine. I personally don't really have any sort of stake in the game.
I like it. I don't know
fine.
anything about Borderlands though, so I really can't talk too much. It does feel like I'm watching Borderlands and Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for Kevin Hart to be anything besides Kevin Hart at this point for me.
It looks fine as its own thing to me. Like, when we saw the trailer, I'm kind of like, okay, cool, because the trailer had already been out, so I'm just like, okay, fine. Like, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we needed to see any more, though. Like, just
Yeah.
show us the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems fine. Just kind of the group there. Yeah, and again, not much more to say about anybody who's interested in Borderlands can go see that. We also got a tiny little teaser for the most anticipated movie of the year, Angry Birds 3. Everybody was looking forward to it. Everybody.
This is the
really
best
weird.
part. They're like this, like very little detail in that teaser trailer. They're
Yeah,
like,
I
who's
just-
excited? And everyone's
Yeah.
like,
It's
what's
like-
Angry Birds?
Who is playing? No one's playing Angry Birds anymore. I don't know who this is for.
Nope.
Because all the kids are playing Fortnite, or if they're playing on their phone, if they're playing a mobile
Yeah.
game on their phone, they're going to be playing better games than
Yeah, they
Angry
don't even
Birds.
know
They're
what
going to be
Angry
playing
Birds
Genshin
is.
Impact. They're going to be playing chess, for crying out loud. They're not going to be playing Angry Birds. Like, that is just... We're done with Angry
If I
Birds.
could do this right now, if I was able to, my nephew's in the other room, and I could be like, hey, do you know what Angry Birds is? And he's probably going to be like, no.
No,
Go get
you
it
don't
real quick.
know. And it's
I would
been
love that. Is he
a while
busy?
since the movies.
You can cut yourself going to get him. Go get him real quick
Oh
and
my
just see.
gosh.
Okay, do you know what Angry Birds is?
Yeah.
You know what Angry Birds is? Do you play Angry Birds? You know what do you
No.
you like to play Sonic? No. Well, what do you like to play on your tablet? You don't know? What do you like to play on your tablet?
I like to play all the games.
Like, what's your favorite? You craft things?
No.
No, you don't.
There's this game that I don't know what it's called.
I thought you liked Minecraft.
With a fat red bird that you slingshot at people.
Okay, so alright. How about Stardew Valley?
No.
No.
No?
Sometimes.
Does he play
Or your
Fortnite?
mom still plays. Yeah, he plays
All you really
Fortnite.
need is Sonic.
You play Fortnite? Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's your favorite skin in Fortnite?
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Dude, Marshmallow, the DJ in Fortnite. is So
That's
funny.
awesome. Thanks, bud.
Alright. Thank you. That's all I needed.
That was a very important question. I think.
You can let the cat out. She's fine.
Oh, man.
She's good. She just...
So, knows what Angry Birds is. Has never played Angry Birds. I'm sure he saw it in an ad somewhere from another game that he was playing, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
probably. I mean, they have the movies, I guess. Maybe he knows it from, like...
maybe he knows it from,
From
the
the
movies. The
movies.
movies have. Yeah,
He's
so
just
weird.
shy. I'm like...
Why are they making a
thank
third
you.
movie? They're really running out of ideas. I mean, we've been saying
Anyway.
this on the podcast for a long time that Hollywood's running out of ideas, but we're running out of ideas.
Yeah.
For Angry Birds 3, that's almost worse than Despicable Me 4. And both are happening.
Yeah.
Minions.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That
How
was great.
like how many birds? How can you I never watched the first two movies, so please like educate me, I guess. I just don't understand how that's like a entertaining movie concept.
I remember
Because
Things,
it's a
invade,
puzzle
like, a
game.
spaceship, if I remember right.
the first one wasn't that bad from what I remember. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, but it's like the fact that I don't really remember it doesn't do it justice anyway.
Yeah.
So,
But, okay. So it's a movie that some kids know about, but they just don't care.
yeah.
He would have been excited for literally any other movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
You're like, do you know what it is? And he was like,
dude, if I
yeah.
told
You're like,
him-
do you
if
play
I
it?
would've told him,
No.
like, if I would have mentioned Spider-Verse or Spider-Man or something, he'd be like, bling, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
No,
we can move on. No one
that's-
cares about Angry Birds. Sorry, Angry
No,
Birds
I don't
developers.
care about Angry Birds.
That's why I'm like,
Angry
what
Birds
do you
doesn't
play?
care about Angry Birds.
And I wanted to be like, okay, what games do kids play on their phones and tablets these days?
I'm ready for the Fortnite movie.
I am too.
I'll rag on that too, but
It'll be
That's
like
just
Ready
Ready Player One.
oh yeah, it totally is.
It pretty much
Yeah.
is.
It's just kind of, but then yeah, I don't. Dude, Fortnite is crazy because, sorry, small tangent. It's just crazy how it's not just like other video game characters.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like
like
you have in
everything.
Smash, or like you have it. It's like you have people from random media. You have real people. And I'm not just talking about random media. I'm talking they had Kelsier from Mistborn. That's niche. That book came out in 2006.
That's a deep
Why
cut
is he
right
there?
Don't they have Dwayne
Why
Johnson?
is
as, like, an
Eminem
original
there?
character?
Oh yeah, Dwayne Johnson is original.
Why is
character.
Marshmallow there?
So is Brie Larson. Yeah,
It's
like
so
you could
crazy.
literally
It's
watch Marshmallow
crazy.
shoot like a cartoon character or something. Like I don't know, like or like yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what can get
Anyways.
weirder. Anyway,
We can move on. That
was a fun experiment.
And Fortnite news.
Yeah.
We'll go into the TV shows that we've been watching. I have been watching the same shows, but I'm not gonna talk about Free Run. Watching Free Run, it's great. I got like 5 more episodes. I've been watching like an episode a week. It's fine. I still love it. But Ren Fair, watch that. Not gonna recommend it. It's a documentary. I talked about this last week. The first episode came out. The other 2 episodes came out today, which I thought was a weird choice. But Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, I think is coming out next week. So that's probably why they
I think
like, let's get these 2 out because no one's gonna watch it after that.
Next week? I thought it was this week.
This weekend. Yeah, this weekend.
Okay, I've been seeing like ads like everywhere, and then like
I think it'll come out Sunday.
I saw a review pop up already, so I was like, huh?
But it's okay. So there's a Ren Fair, Texas Renaissance Festival. I've gone. It's enjoyable. It's very crazy. There's been a lot of drama. If you follow like the Facebook pages, a lot of drama behind the Ren Fair. They've been like gone through like 3 different general managers, and so what was marketed was this like kind of Tiger King style documentary about the Ren Fair, and I was like, that sounds terrifying and really kind of cool. I would love to watch that because like what's going on behind the scenes. Instead, what you get is like 3.5 hours, probably a little over 3 hours of like weird horror movie editing.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's super uncomfortable. King George is like, the dude's crazy. He's just a crazy old man. He's like in his 80s and he's filthy rich and has no family, and so he's just like off in his own world. And the whole premise of it is there's these 3 people who are trying to either buy it or get the fair inherited to them when he passes away, and they want to be like the next king. And so it plays out almost like more like a reality show than a documentary of these people like fighting for the crown kind of thing. And then there will be these like super scripted situations. Like there's this character in the show, and I'm going to call him a character. He's wearing a dragon face.
Character.
I don't know how else to put it. And like
He's
one of
a
them,
role player who is role playing.
it's so weird. Like he's in an office for no reason, a bunch of horror music and like weird like darkening around the edges of the camera and stuff. And then it's this like guy with this dragon mask on. He's like, "Don't sell it, George." And it was like, that's not a documentary at this point. And then there's another spot where he's like standing in line, and someone walks away to take a phone call, and he's like, "Can I not get my food?" And it's so random and like scripted, and I don't know what I'm watching. All of that said, I don't think that it would be that entertaining to someone who hasn't gone to that Ren Fair or to a Ren Fair at all, at the very least.
I just want to say it was weird how that TikTok ad popped up right after we finished recording the podcast last week.
For Ren Fair?
Yeah, remember I sent you all that screenshot of like how
Oh yeah.
an ad popped up as
Yeah.
soon as I got off the podcast, and it's like, oh, here's an ad for this show, and I'm like,
Phone advertised pretty crazy.
that's not creepy at all.
I would love to see like what other people think about it that aren't like who don't go to Ren Fairs. But I would assume that it's very boring, and that the editing is just really uncomfortable to watch. It was the least documentary-esque documentary I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
And I just wanted Tiger King. I just
Tiger
wanted
King,
some,
but Ren
yeah,
version.
like a dude that goes by King George, lives on an island in the middle of Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. and like runs the biggest Ren fair in the United States, I figured that would give off some Tiger King vibes.
I mean, in general, that does sound like a fun premise, even when you take out all the extra like stuff and the extra like drama.
Yeah, the people are going for his crown, or
Like,
the
I'd love
general
to see
manager. That's
what
what
goes
exciting.
into the work of actually making a Ren fair, like go like work,
Yeah,
like,
and that too. I was kind of excited to see more of the like the behind the scenes stuff because, like I said, there was a lot of drama on Facebook about this fair, and so I was kind of like, I wonder like if this will kind of showcase some of that. And you don't learn anything; you just have weird. It's almost kind of making fun of the three people that are trying to like get the crown. They just like paints them all in a poor light as they're trying to get to the top. They call him like the general manager, and then the corn Lord of Corn because he sells kettle corn, and then the elephant whatever, and it's goofy. I don't know.
It could have been like a real life Game of Thrones, or something like that. Like
literally, they make that reference.
They do? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It was odd. I would have rather this been, and that would have been very King George of him to do, if this would have literally been a reality show of them trying to like get to the top, and they were given like challenges and stuff to like win the crown at the end. Would have been more fun.
An actual like game show.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
I'll joust for it.
So, I'll stop there on my rant. I just I don't think that it would be entertaining the most, unfortunately. And the fair has like put out a statement saying that they're like, oh yeah, we don't have anything to do with a show that was filmed in our own fair and with our manager, and
they don't condone it, or they don't like what?
try to distance themselves from this thing that they made.
Yeah.
The editing, I think, is what really got me. It was so uncomfortable. Makes you cringe. Anyways, LJ, what have you been watching?
I've been watching more Demon Slayer. I think I'm getting close to finishing the first arc.
Nice.
If they're like 20 something episodes, I think I'm getting there. Super good. I enjoy this anime and the characters as I watch it even more. Inosuke is still my favorite character. Not much to say there. The other thing I've watched Acolyte. I still need to finish. I don't know if a new one has come out since. I know for sure there's like 2 that dropped. But so far it's okay. I like the choreography on it and like the fight scenes. Those are cool. I don't necessarily know if I really care for the story yet. I do like some of the characters, but it hasn't really like got me like invested yet. It hasn't really got me like, oh, I gotta finish this, or like so it's like it's okay so far. It's extremely okay. Like it's not bad. It also just feels. I don't know if it's the era, because the High Republic era I think it's interesting that we're going to this era, and it's good because it's gonna be at least it's gonna be at least different from what we usually see out of Star Wars. There's still Jedi, there's still all this,
right?
There's still those themes and those those things that terminology and things like that. So yeah, I guess I just have to see more. So I don't really know yet. I don't know how to feel about it yet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Oh, I forgot. I also watched Acolyte. But yeah, same.
Yeah, like kind of indifferent about it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I liked it so far.
Like it's okay so far. Like it's not like bad.
Yeah. We'll see. I think it's really interesting that I think we weren't the only podcast saying this, the only voice saying this, that it's better when there's no Jedi.
Yeah.
And so now all their shows, they're making really good shows with Jedi in it, just like to prove us wrong. It's the Skywalkers, and I think that's Shelley. You said that before.
Skywalker.
It's the Skywalkers that ruined Star Wars.
Wait, which sucks because it's like they're great, but they're also I don't know.
Yeah.
Star
Wars is better without the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be any cameos in this, but I feel like we should get a Yoda cameo. I want to know what he's doing 100 years, 50 years before.
I saw an article saying that we won't see him in Acolyte or something.
I think it's a bad call.
From, I guess, one of, like, the director or somebody who's, like, in charge of it. Yeah.
And not because, like, I need a bunch of cameos, but I just want to see what he's doing in this era. Like, how's he looking 50 years before,
Yeah.
episode 1?
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm
But
indifferent
anyways.
about it right now.
Main character, not main character, the guy that was in Squid Games
Saul is
learned
cool.
English to audition for this, which is pretty crazy.
He did. He gives me Qui-Gon vibes, which I'm totally down with that.
I've read a thing that said that was his biggest inspiration was
purpose?
Qui-Gon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because Qui-Gon's low-key like one of the best like characters and stuff.
Oh, Qui-Gon's awesome.
Qui-Gon was probably the best Jedi that we've seen.
The most straight edged, like.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is a terrible Jedi.
I still think
That's
what
not
they said
necessarily true. He is on that order. Like, okay, I know you guys are talking about Acolyte and you talk about other stuff, but I have been watching more Clone Wars.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
And we're finally watching, we kind of got to the point where Sabine is now there. I think is that her name? She's the head of of Mandalore.
Satine, I think.
Satine, okay, thank you. I was like, I don't remember her name because, frankly, I don't like her. But
Sabine
I do
was
like...
Ahsoka, right?
Yes, or that was.
Yeah, I
Rebels,
wasn't. I didn't remember. So, frankly, I'm not a big fan of her, but I do like how she puts Obi-Wan in a position to become a foil for Anakin. Because whereas Anakin is, in a hidden relationship with Padme, and throughout the entire show, they do a really good job showing that he is just too passionate most of the time, and he will do pretty much whatever to get to his goal. And things won't really stop him, right? He'll just kind of bulldoze through it. Whereas Obi-Wan is always like that, well, Anakin, we need to slow down, or, oh, Anakin, blah, blah, blah. Like, can't you listen to the order? And
Anakin in that aspect more than anybody.
right, because he kind of had a thing with this lady for a while, and he even said at some points, like, I would have left the order for you, which is
I want
crazy.
that in like a comic book or something. Like, I need that story. Like,
Yeah, and
See, he's got some
but
attachment.
then that's his whole thing. He's so good at being like, that was a thing I had felt. That's a thing I've now I'm over it. And I choose the order, and I choose it every time, and I choose, like, being what Jedi actually is, and that does mean kind of, like, not having these attachments. And the way he approaches that situation versus, like, how Anakin does, like, they pin them together sort of like against each other so many times to show off that how he's a perfect foil, where it's like Anakin's like, oh, but like it's like, oh, well, I'm in love with Padme, whatever, and I do all these things and I'm really passionate, whereas Obi-Wan's like, dude, I've been in the same position, but I'm able to make it work. And so he's so staunchly Jedi that it I don't know. I think I'm really excited to, whenever we finish Clone Wars, rewatch Revenge of the Sith, and it'll be really weird to like, and I actually have seen the last couple episodes of Clone Wars when Order 66 happens. Like, I have actually seen that, but I never really watched any of the Clone Wars like leading up to it, right? So it'll be really interesting watching it again.
Like, I see them as their Clone Wars versions now. Like,
right? Yeah. So
even with Hayden Christensen, whatever, I don't see him as that version of Anakin anymore. Like,
Fair, totally. Mm-hmm. So I just think Obi-Wan's actually a pretty good Jedi in that way. He's a good Jedi in the sense that he really does just kind of follow through, does what he's supposed to do pretty much every time, and he kind of like, jokes around or whatever every once in a while, but he is pretty staunch, whereas Anakin is not. And it shows, it culminates in his sort of crescendos into Revenge of the Sith, where we see, you are my brother, Anakin. So, my 2 cents there. That was my update for Clone Wars as well, because that's just the latest stuff we've been watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll get into TV news then. I almost went through the movie news. We got a few different things, all pretty unrelated. We have a new trailer for Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is based off of Seth Rogen's Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah.
Is it Seth Rogen? Yeah. Yep. And it looks good. It looks very TV made. I know it's coming to streaming, but that makes sense. Like, if you were to make an Into the Spider-Verse TV show, I would assume the quality would go down. It's just gonna happen.
Without Shredder, I'm like, what are y'all gonna do? Like,
yeah.
Shredder. We got lots to do. I don't know. We'll see. It looks fun. It looks goofy. We also have first looks at Zack Snyder's animated show, Twilight of the Gods, which is a Norse epic. And I say this, I don't know why I think this, but it gives some like Samurai Jack vibes to me.
It looks.
But the art style is
stylistic.
definitely not Samurai Jack.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those shows that kind of just shows more than tells, like, you know, kind of a thing. Like, I hope it's more of like a Samurai Jack in that way, where it's like you can just see things happen on screen without somebody necessarily having to tell you what's happening or speak.
Yeah.
About it, you know, like that's
Which sounds
what
very
makes
Zack
so
Snyder.
cool. Yeah, like, and that's what is so cool about Gendy Tartakovsky's work. Like, Primal, like his most recent show, is kind of the same way. There's very little talking in that show, and like even in the Clone Wars before Clone Wars, like there's a lot of visual stuff, and I would kind of like to see if Zack Snyder like does something like that. Like I would be down for it.
Yeah, I'm curious. That'll be coming to Netflix at some point. I don't know if it has released
That
yet.
initial image
Still probably
doesn't do
not.
anything for it, but if you go look down and look at those slides, I think there is more worth seeing as far as like those still images.
Yeah. There's one in particular. It's like blue and red. Looks pretty epic.
That initial
very
shot
Zack
just
Snyder.
looks like it could have been pulled straight from like Vox Machina or something. Like
Yeah.
when you look at those other shots, I'm like,
There's one
okay.
this like centipede thing overhead, and then a pillar of blood, and like even as you're describing it, it sounds pretty cool. There's like some fire over here,
yeah,
just bones in the background. It looks neat.
yeah. And even that picture of like, what is it? I don't know if it's supposed to be like Odin or something.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
You know, but I'm just
With
like,
the-
that has, even the beard and just the way that character is designed.
Aura
is
coming behind him.
is very stylistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks cool. We'll see.
I'm open to
Zack
it.
Snyder does very unique work, I feel like. So
I still haven't worked up the courage to actually watch Rebel Moon because I've heard mixed things on it, but
I need to watch the second one. It's out, isn't it?
I'm down for.
Oh, is it out?
ESOs.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm down for whatever this is though.
I know people didn't like the first one because it was too Star Warsy and it was a little cheesy, but it was still better than anything Star Wars has done in a long time. So
Isn't that the point? Like,
yeah, I was like, that's what I signed up for.
I might just have to watch it for myself someday and just make my own opinion.
It's very rip-offish. There's a lot of stuff that
Oh,
you're
I'm
like,
sure.
oh, you literally just stole
I
from
mean-
Star Wars.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
But I knew that. Like, I was going into it going, oh, you're just gonna like make your own Star Wars. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing LJ is very excited about is
Yes.
Yakuza.
Nice.
Yakuza. How do you want to put it? Like a
so-
like a dragon.
So they kind of they dubbed the series, they call it Like a Dragon now, and then it's like Yakuza is the subtitle. These games are so good. Like they've gotten recent popularity in like the last decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
The original came out. The original started coming out in like PS2 era, but they just gained so much popularity as they like re-released and remastered and made more of them. And I haven't played all of them, but I've played enough to know that they have really good stories and like they can be super goofy when they want to. And like just all the characters are super good. Like, so I'm like this show writes itself. Like whoever is making the show, hopefully they are well versed in the games, or like they have played a lot of the games, or they at least do.
I'm going to assume they will be.
Because
It's going to be directed by Take Masaharu and Takimoto Kengo, which tells me that it's probably in Japanese.
yeah, I forget what they've worked on too. I know there's like they definitely have some like credits as far as like other stuff they've done in the past.
100 Yen Love and Common Teacher, but I don't know
Okay.
either of those personally.
And this was straight up like I had to check and make sure that this wasn't like a photoshopped image, because like, they just dropped an image and they're like, and it was from the devs, and I'm like, oh, this is real. So I think it's exciting that like especially after Fallout, if Amazon, like I know Amazon's just like the distributor, right? But like or like publishing it basically. But it's like I hope that they really show love to like the game, like the properties that they're, because Fallout is really good. And then this game is going to center, or the movie, or the show, sorry, is going to center on Kiryu, who's like the long-running main character of the series. So it's like there's so many, like you could literally pull off like a game a season or something. And then you can also do, it said there is going to be flashbacks in it, so which I assume is going to be Yakuza 0 stuff, because they made a prequel at some point. So I'm just super excited because it's like I enjoy these games, and it's gonna bring these games a little bit more mainstream, because there's going to be casual fans hopefully able to check it out, you know, like, so yeah, it just makes me happy.
It always. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it makes me happy that I get to introduce this world to more people. Like, when Fallout came out, I was having coworkers being like, hey, explain this thing to me, or like, what's this? And like, all of that is accurate to the video game, because it's, you know, like, and it's, you know, like, there's nothing changed. It's still in the video game. So I'm excited to do that with Yakuza.
Yeah.
So
I'm always curious the relationship of the actual Yakuza, which, for those that don't know, is like a real, you know, organized crime syndicate.
Yeah.
And then something like this, or not to do too many spoilers for My Hero, but like they're in My Hero.
Or like
and they're showed.
Way of the House Husband too is like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
They're always kind of getting like made fun of and like downplayed, and I'm always like, are we just not like, do we not care what they think anymore? Or
It kind of reminds me of how like there was actual mafia like people like on the set of like The Godfather and stuff like that. Like, you know, like how.
yeah,
Like how.
that's what I
do they
wonder.
look
Is
into
like,
this?
are they in on it, or are they just being
Right.
like,
Right.
like
There's-
maybe this game is just like, you know,
Like, I can't
halfway
wait
paid for by Yakuza.
I can't wait for the audience to get introduced to Majima. Majima's this silly character who just pops up randomly in the game and tries to like fight you. And so I'm like, I just already know that character's like super nutty, like, and silly as it is. So I'm like, I'm excited to see like what they do with him in the show. So it's like there's just certain characters like I'm looking forward to seeing like the live action counterparts. So
Yeah, cool.
I'm pumped.
That is all of the TV news. Are we geeking out about anything else this week? I think you both are, aren't you?
Yeah, I have a small thing.
Yeah,
go for it.
I'm getting into more indie comics as well, and just comics in general. Getting back
Very
into
good.
it. But I read Volume 1 of Saga, which is a super popular.
Oh yeah, everyone. You have to let me know how that is, because I heard it's good, but it's long and
this
still
is
going.
This is where I'll kind of do that. For the first volume, it's definitely hard mature. There's nudity and everything, which feels weird to say about a comic book. And it's not necessarily just like there is some of it. Some panels are definitely like, I feel like, for shock value. Like we did this because we can, but I'm also like, oh, it's like a comic book, you know. And there are some stylistic choices that I'm like, some things are extremely weird to me. In it, you know, just stylistic choices. But I'm like, hey, you know what? If that's what this artist's vision and this writer's vision, like, I can't knock that. Like, it's not necessarily for me, you know. Like, and especially being that this is a Christian podcast, like, I want to preface that this is a very comic. A lot of violence, a lot of things happening. But the theme and the setting is really cool. It's a mix of sci-fi and fantasy in this Romeo and Juliet style plot where this couple that shouldn't be together, they're basically factions are at war and they're trying to get off this planet. It's one of those things where I've struggled with the idea of picking up the second volume. I don't know if I'm going to yet, but I have mad respect for it. So it's just one of those things where I'd say, like, I wouldn't recommend it to a casual like comic reader who like only reads like superhero stuff or like, you know, stuff like that. So that's where I'm at with it. It's good though.
Cool. And Shelley?
Yeah, so I finally finished Mistborn 1.
Nice.
It's done. I'm on to the second one.
Nice.
Still good so far, but just a little update there. Just a little.
Cool.
Not much to say other than Mistborn good. Thumbs up. Recommend.
Sounds good. We will end the podcast there then. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on. I almost said my username first. You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LJ the Paladin.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Goodbye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.